Hello everyone, Ultimate Steve here, and welcome to the first episode of a brand new series, Solar Station, assuming I decide to use that name and don't change the name. So, my good friend A Little Bit More has challenged me to create a station around the Sun in a polar orbit at a distance of 1/15th of Moho's orbit. Now, I'm not entirely sure that's reasonably possible, but I'm going to certainly try. And this mission will happen in 3 phases. Step 1, I'm going to send like a probe just to crash into the Sun to see like where low space is and like how bad the thermal environment is at the orbit I want to achieve. And I'm also going to use it for delta V planning. Then I'm going to send a probe into 1/5 of Moho's orbit, polar around the Sun, to like as like a halfway point, and that was the first part of the challenge he gave me to just get into like low space around the Sun, which is about that altitude. And then the third stage, of course, is going to be to make the station. So, a probe to crash into the Sun is not going to be all that difficult. At least, I'm hoping so. We just need our traditional probe body, and to stuff it inside one of these small service bays, not one of those. And like for actual, for actual operations, it's going to be ion engines all the way to get into low solar orbit. There's nothing else that can come close to providing the needed delta V. But just because this is just crashing into the Sun and not like doing anything super delta V intensive, I'm just going to go normal nuclear for this. Also, I'm using a different mouse. It feels super weird, but my old mouse is in the process of dying. I'm going to try and take it apart and see what's being weird about it. Kerbin's orbital speed around the Sun is 9 kilometers per second? That's more than I remember it being. Okay, so we'll have to add more of these, but still not an unreasonable number. That is the required amount. Actually, no, hold on. I'm going next to the Sun. I don't need a lot of solar panels at all. I can probably just get away with sticking 4 of these up here. I am also going to want an antenna. Solar Scout probe. Scout. Scout. And then let's just find a way to get this to space. Put this in a big old fairing, just so I can keep my sanity, and since I have the space, if I put these, how much does it hurt my delta V? I'm gonna have some extra in the other stages, so that'll be fine. It'll cut the time required in like basically thirds. There's the big fuel tanks. I've been looking for them for like the solid 30 seconds. I'm kind of feeling Ares 1 today. Big solid rocket booster and then a liquid stage above it. Does this have enough thrust though? Just barely. There's no way this is going to be stable, so I'm just going to stick overkill fins at the bottom. Can I make this orange? Yes, I can. Now it looks more like Ares 1. All right, Solar Scout probe. So just to recap, we're going to crash into the Sun with this and see like how hot things get at the altitudes that we were expected to build the station at, and whether or not the wiki's low space altitude for the Sun is accurate. Launch. That's not reassuring. It's also not reassuring how time warp is making us go like that. So I'm going to do a quick auto strut to the root part, and then time warp my way through the rest of this. Why is it? Okay. I guess I can't just time warp my way through all my problems. I guess it's 1 times acceleration for me again. Okay, this is a bit low, but I think we can manage it, especially seeing as we're going to ditch this stage in a second. There we are. You're going to hear Discord pings in the background. That's not you, that's me. A Little Bit More is talking to me about the mission in Discord right now. And he's just got a contract to do a solar station in career mode. Oh, just 9 kilometers per second, not 9. 9 delta V, 9 what? 9 somethings. 9 furlongs per century of delta V. That is actually a very valid unit, as long as it's the speed. I wonder, like, furlongs per century, I don't think 1 furlong per cent, yeah, that's not a very... You need like mega furlongs per century to have that be a usable unit or something like that. Okay, wibbly wobbly stage. And then we're in orbit, And we have 5.4 plus 3.3, which is 8.7 plus 1.1, 8.8, 9.8 kilometers per second in delta V. Almost 10 kilometers per second in delta V. There's no way that's not enough. So if I start burning roughly about here, I should end up on a solar impact trajectory. Here we go. Off we go, into the hot, bright starlight, diving right into the sun. I don't remember the rest of the words, so I can't make an accurate parody of that. Now, if this upper stage is not ×4 time warp stable, I think I'm gonna cry. I also should have added, like, a bigger reaction wheel, but whatever, that's fine. Alright, here we go. And now we just got the time warp. Actually, okay, we actually aimed a bit too far up. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna ignore all the Oberth effect stuff. I'm just gonna burn retrograde and solar orbit, and oh hey, we actually have extra delta V. So here we go. Enjoy your time lapse. That's the wrong thing. I need to drag this. Okay, so I've actually decided that I'm going to do pass 1 down to 333 megameters, because that's about the altitude the station is going to be at, which seems way too low now that I look at it. Like, I don't know if that's going to be thermally attainable. So we might need to send multiple test missions with, like, radiators to see how this thing is going to hold together, because 1,000 megameters should be low space, because Moho's at about, like, 5 megameters. But we'll see. We'll see. So we're about at Moho's height, 5 megameters. 4 megameters, 3 megameters, 2 megameters. Okay, so let's do a sanity check here. We're gonna open the bay and pressure data high over the sun. So below 1,000, it should be low over the sun. A little bit more says he has a conundrum. He's sending a ScanSat to the Mun. Okay, oh, that is not good. Already at just low space. Yeah, this is low space. This is the original altitude. But we're already burning up here. So, I guess I might have to send a second test probe to make sure, like, later on. Like, we can definitely send a probe to orbit at this altitude. Like, I don't know how much delta V would it take to circularize at that altitude. Like, let's see this. Like, at the station altitude. It's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, what did I agree to? Why did I take this challenge? That is about the altitude I need to get in, and it's going to be a 17 kilometer per second burn. That's impossible with anything other than ion engines. So I'm going to send a picture of that to Little and see what he reacts. Alright, so I just told him about my conundrum, about how hot it's going to be at those altitudes, and he says, well, that sounds like a you problem. I never changed that. He says, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's see how low we can get with this design before they burn up. Okay, so for unshielded parts that have the same temperature tolerance as the OX stat panels, we can go to 700, we can go to 600 megameters, we can go to 500 megameters, we're at 433 megameters, and we're still surviving. So honestly, this might be possible. Like that's a reasonable orbit around a star. I might actually be able to go lower, honestly. And this is without any, like, radiators, without any fancy tricks. I might legit get to... I might legit get to, the right orbit. When I time warp, things heat up faster. So I should send a second probe, just to test, like, heating up stuff and whatnot. Because, like, if this can make it, or at least almost make it, this will almost make it to the required target orbit with no mitigations whatsoever, we will be perfectly fine. Yeah, we will be perfectly fine. So the periapsis is an hour. So this is like a 4-day solar orbit. 100x, that's the next. That's gonna blow up. Yep, we blew up. Alright, so, but, like, Look at this. We are like just maybe 10% off from our target orbit, and we have 0 mitigation. So the actual probe is going to be a-okay. All right, so I've changed the plan slightly. The next probe, we're not going to like go into like the halfway orbit. We're going to go to all the way orbit with just a probe. Because like we know we need about 17 in the ion. Okay, and then we're also going to test thermal mitigations up there, so we can actually survive at that altitude. So, first of all, what is the most? Okay, the probe core that we were using had a melting temperature of 1200 Kelvin. And so did the electrical panels we use. Yeah, also 1200 Kelvin. All the 1200 Kelvin parts blew up at that point. Are there any probe cores that have a higher temperature tolerance? I can't sort by temperature tolerance. That's I have to look through all these manually. 2500K on the Mark II drone core. That's really good because that's the spaceplane part. The probe. Oh, Moho Planner. This is the thing that was based on the Parker Solar Probe. No, not the Parker Solar Probe. It was the other one. The one that went to Mercury in real life. The Bepi Colombo. That was the collaboration with the ESA. 2200. These are 2200. They're good. 2000. 1200. It'll look really goofy, but let's go with the Mark II drone core. Actually, now that I think about it, like just actually no, hold on. We're gonna hedge our bets. We're gonna go with something more manageable, the RC Moho 1S, because that's still 2000. That'll definitely make it to that altitude, but I don't know if it'll make it all the way. So, ion engines. It's been forever since I used ion engines. It's gonna be absolutely brutal using them, because I'll probably have to install the Better Time Warp mod in order to like do this in a reasonable amount of time. But like, let's see, like this simple spacecraft, we have one large ion tank and one ion engine. Okay, 7 meters per second in atmosphere. Vacuum. We have 29 kilometers per second. This is enough to get there. Yeah, it'll be, basically we're saying we'll be fine. Okay, these solar panels, do any of these have higher melting points? Okay, these have 2000. Let's try and hide the entire, actually no, we don't need a heat shield. We just need radiators at that altitude. We'll need a heat shield if we go any lower, like significantly lower than that. Because like it's gonna be exponential heating, like we are literally next to a star. What's the burn time on this? 11,739 seconds. 11,739 divided by 60, that is 3.25 hours of burn time. I'm not about that. We do also need an antenna. What if we just gave this a heat shield on one side? Like, just to give a spacer. What's the temperature tolerance on that? 2000. Alright, yeah. There's not going to be a single part on this that's lower than 2000. The heat shield, 2.5 meter is that thick, but like, without a blader, how much is it? 1.712, 1.212, so that's 0.5 tons. So we just need to put something else that weighs 0.5 tons on this side to balance it out. Like this communication disk is 0.1 tons, so that can balance out part of it. Actually, hold on. We don't even need a heat shield this big. We can make it smaller. Let's do a 1.875 meter heat shield. No blader. 1.562, 1.262. That's yeah, that's only, what is it? That's 0.3 tons. That's 1/3 of what we need. And then the radiators, 4 of these would do it. 1, 2. What else can go on the far side? Because like that's about it. We're gonna want some electric storage, maybe, probably, maybe. Okay. That's about where we put the science in real life, I'd say. Let's stick a thermometer on there just because, you know, it's the sun. How hot's the sun? Well, we're gonna find out. And then we can keep track of the center of mass fairly reasonably like this. If instead of putting more heavy stuff on the other side, we just moved the heavy stuff closer on this side, it should have the same effect. That's not all the way there. What else can we put on there? Like, what else does a spacecraft need that I'm completely forgetting about? Actually, yeah, some batteries would be nice, because right now we only have the probe core. Like that. It looks goofier, but like, that's fairly well balanced. So yeah, let's go with that. And our delta V is actually too low now, which is not reassuring, because that's 3 hours of burn time. Okay, let's go up to 5 ion engines to make it a little bit more reasonable. That's gonna decrease our delta V even more, because they're heavy. But we can make another stage. That's only 9 kilometers per second. Oh no, help me. Okay, here's what I can do. I can stick one of these decouplers up here. And how, what's the temperature tolerance on this ion fuel tank? 2000. Alright, so it should be perfectly fine. Okay, so if I enable the crossfeed on this, and then increase the flow priority on this, I get double the delta V, roughly 17 kilometers per second. And that's about how much I needed for that orbit. Oh, getting the crew back is going to be so brutal. Alright, low solar orbiter. There we are. So then, what we need to do, because this is fine for like the solar break stage, we need to find to get 3.5 tons on the same trajectory that we had previously. And in order to do that, we need to roughly 2 kilometers per second to boost it into a high orbit, and then maybe a bit more to reduce the inclination and altitude. Or we could swing by Joule, but I don't want to set up a Joule encounter right now. Because that's how they do it in real life. They swing by Jupiter to get into a polar orbit of a sun. The one time this has been done in real life. Like solar portal orbiter. I think that was the Helios probe? I don't remember. So that's giving me 3.5 kilometers per second. I'm going to make sure everything has rigid attachment on. Like in the main stack. So I can time warp. That's going to cover my plane change and deorbit burn. So now it needs 2 kilometers per second in low orbit. But seeing how badly the other one went, like in terms of ascent, I'm going to use a liquid-fueled one for this. So no more Ares 1. And there we are, low solar orbiters ready for launch. Guess who forgot solar panels? I mean, not solar... Guess who forgot fins, but it's gonna be fine, right? And it looks like the physics warp, and it's better. Not perfect, but it's better. Then we're gonna descend down to the sun and do our braking bridge there. And there goes our first stage. And welcome to orbit. So now what we need to do is we want to go to the back side of Kerman and basically burn full tilt prograde. I think we might actually still have some fuel in this stage when it's done. We might have overbuilt the rocket a little bit. And off we go into solar orbit. You know, I thought I was going to get out there before installing better time warp so I could do the sun retrograde, but I'm going to close the game now, and I'm going to come back when I have better time warp installed, because even that 4-year time warp out there is going to be brutal. So see you in a bit. Hyper warp. Alright, so this should, yeah, 1 takes me to 10, 2 takes me to 100, 3 takes me to 1,000, 4 takes me to 10,000. Oh, okay. I may have forgotten to open the antenna. So, input locks to clear. Nope, I still can't. Did I quick save? Okay, I'm gonna do a big quick save right now, because I really don't want it. Please, please, please. Okay, good. Alright, we did make a quick save. Wait, no. Yes, we did. Wait, no. I quick saved after I time warped far enough to not... Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I could just launch another one. Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna launch another one. Yeah, I forgot to extend the antenna. It's so bad. To save time, I'm just gonna literally go straight up solar prograde. Oh, not only did I forget to extend the solar panel, sorry, not only did I forget to extend the antennas, I also forgot to extend the solar panels. There is what the probe is supposed to look like. There we are, full prograde. Should get our app up to about where we were. We're gonna have a bit less fuel than last time because we went straight up, and that's not very efficient. Seeing as we already had a little bit of a fuel surplus, I'm not that concerned. And about there. Alright, so now we can hyper warp out of here. Goodbye, Kerbin. See you never. And just like that, 4 years in a matter of seconds. I love better time warp. Okay, hold on. We want to burn retrograde to 0, and then we want to burn normal a bit, but like, we should combine those two burns. Yeah, let's go over the top of the sun. Here we go. Actually, I'm gonna quick save here in case I do this burn wrong. I don't really need more than ×4, and if I set Kerbin as my target, I can tell how inclined I am. 20 degrees. And I think the criteria was I need to be like at least 85, but I'm gonna go for as close to 90 as possible. 89, 90. Now I can do retrograde the rest of the way, and we wanted to do 300,000. Well, 333 was the thing, and that would have taken us 17 kilometers per second. I don't know if it can do much more. I'm going to try 300. I'm going to try 300. No. 290 megameters, actually, because I like 29. Okay. So, retrograde, how much does it take to, like, circularize at 290 or 287 megameters is what I'm at. A lot. The sun's very chunky. So delta V wise, we're about to hit our limit here. So we're at 18. Okay, no, that's too much. Because we have 18.5 kilometers per second of delta V. And that's enough to get 290 by 308. Or 209 by 307. So I'm going to have to raise the orbit slightly. Actually, no, hold on. It doesn't have to be that circular. Like, it doesn't have to be that circular. I'm just going to go ahead and do it right now. And I make a big old quick save to see if we can do it better. And we need to really make sure not to overshoot this, because we are going to get to go really fast. We're currently going 11 kilometers per second, which is blazing. But look at how fast we're going to be going when we're here. We're already at 20 kilometers per second, and we're barely at, like, Moho's position. Please don't explode due to heat. There we are. We're going 45 kilometers per second. Okay, something's overheating here. Alright. So we're going to need to assume our heat-proof position. Which is going to be roughly retrograde for this foreseeable future. I'm going to do constant quick saves because time warping and thermal heating do get a pretty weird when you get really close to the sun. I don't even know what part that is. Oh, what am I doing? I need to extend the radiators. Okay, that's clipping. I didn't think to check that. Alright, we just have to make it 3 more hours. Okay, we can, at 100 times time warp, we are thermally stable. Burn time, an hour 22. So we need to start the burn about 45 minutes before it happens. If I pull this off, it will be by far the closest I've ever orbited the sun legitly. I don't even know if I've ever gone for a low solar orbit before this. Okay, almost exploded there. Okay. So the burn is going to take an hour and 22. And assuming I'm stable at 16 times time warp, that's about 82 divided by 16. It's going to be a 5-minute burn, which is actually not that bad. We're below 350. And we are officially below 333, which is the cutoff for the challenge. So no, it's possible to get down here. And the numbers say it's possible to circularize. Okay, when should I start? Because that's 30 minutes plus 11, which is 41 minutes. I need to start at T minus 41 minutes, which is coming up really soon here. We're below 300. Okay, we're slightly late, but that's fine. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick save here. And the game's done that lovely thing where it stops me, it stops the engine noise again. So you won't hear any engine noise. Or at least if you do, it'll be very, very quiet. But anyway. And our apoapsis is already almost a quarter of what it was before. That's orbital mechanics for you. I also didn't test the balance on this thing, but hopefully I can change that with thrust limiters if I need to. Yeah, we're not going to activate the super time warp until the ion engine phase, because this might spring out of control with how high thrust it is. And in just a second here, the nuclear stage will be burned out, and we are going to have 2 stages to go. And just to make sure our staging is right, and quick save. And here we go, ion time. And we're going to switch to physical warp. 4 to 12. That's 4, we're stable. That's 8, we're stable. 12, we're stable. Oh, okay, so it's not 16, it's 12, but that doesn't matter. Either way, we just gotta sit this. Instead of 5 minutes, it's gonna be like 7 or 8 minutes. It's gonna be 82 divided by 12-ish. Which is, yeah, 7 minutes. So yeah, I'll just let this sit here. And hopefully I come back in time to ditch this tank. Be back in a sec. Alrighty, we've got just a little bit left in this tank, and we're gonna detach it. Oh, it's clipping into the heat shield, so I'm gonna do a big old quick save before I ditch it, in case it blows up everything. If I time warp away, okay, good, alright, we're good. So now we got, this thing is full of fuel, and the solar panels are indeed producing enough electric charge. They're producing 1,200 electric charge. Like, hold on. How much electric charge do these engines take? Like, I do not know. Like, I can get an estimate. I know, I can get an exact value. If I retract the solar panels. Why are they heating up as I retract them? Okay, so now if I'm using 43.71 for the engines, well, 44.7, okay, so 43, so I'm using a bit less than 10 per engine, and these are producing way more than 10. These are I could power the entire ship with one of the smallest solar panels in the game at this distance. That makes me wonder, if we lived on a planet closer to the sun, and assuming, well, I mean, water's not going to be stable there, but like assuming there was a civilization that managed to live on a planet this close to the sun, they probably would have adopted renewable energy much, much, much earlier because, you know, solar panels are just overpowered at this altitude. Oh, that's the wrong button. What's our periapsis now? It's coming soon, so it doesn't matter that much. Alright. In order to get this better, we might actually do multiple periapsis kicks. Okay, anyway. Will we get below... Okay, since I'm worried that we're not going to make it, I'm gonna do one more orbital pass. Am I gonna? Okay, maybe. All right, let's try. Let's do a quick save and then try it. I'm just worried that we're not going to get under the 333 that was required by the challenge. 7, 6, 5, 4. We did it! We did the first part of the challenge. Well, technically the first part of the challenge was just sun space low. So we did that a long time ago. But anyway. How low can we go? Actually, I'm gonna take the effort. I'm gonna try and put our periapsis down. So can we get back around to the apoapsis and try and use the remaining tiny amount of fuel we have to reduce our periapsis? to see if we can take the heat. 1000x time warp is bearable, but we are kind of heating up. Okay, we're halfway there. And the thermodynamics at this altitude are very much bearable. And there is our apoapsis right there. So if we face our retrograde, we can burn the rest of our fuel to reduce our periapsis as far as it'll go, which is probably still more than 280. Okay, no, slightly less than 280, 278 by 324. I'm going to screenshot that and send it to Little. Alright, we are approaching our solar periapsis, and it looks like we're going to survive. Like, I kind of want to, like, I'm going to do a save before I do this. But I want to, like, infinite fuel and see how low this design can survive. Because if this can survive significantly lower, we might actually be able to build our station significantly lower, delta V permitting. Hello everyone, Ultimate Steve here, what to start to a series. I got very carried away with this recording session, and I technically recorded enough for like 2 or 3 episodes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the first episode here. I'm not exactly sure where the next episode will pick off. That's a semi-truck. I'm not entirely sure where I'll start next, because much of the next stuff I filmed, it was really disjointed. I kept changing a whole bunch of things around about how I was going to do everything. So, just to give you a preview of the plan as it stands, the current plan is that the station will go into a 200 megameter orbit, which is 133 lower than previously anticipated. Through subsequent testing, I determined that I could reasonably operate at those altitudes without having to like micromanage a whole bunch of stuff. But it is possible to go lower with a lot of micromanaging. So there will be a spacecraft docked to the station that will basically try and skim the sun as low as possible, and then return to the station. I'm not sure how low this will go yet, and there might end up being 2 of them. Stop it, those semi-trucks. But yeah, I've got a trick up my sleeve. I'm not going to reveal it just yet, but if I manage to accomplish this, the thing in the back of my head, the thing I have a trick for, it'll hopefully be something that nobody else in the history of Kerbal Space Program has ever done. Thank you for watching. Ultimate Steve out.